Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great day today. This is Coach Bill with Weight Loss Made Easy. Today we got a kind of pretty good day here in the old Temecula Valley area. Weather's pretty good here. As you can see, I'm doing this video outside today. Guys, I wanted to get on today to talk a little bit about fat burning. What I have here, what the topic I'm going to be talking about today is the 4 tips to help you burn fat faster. And so these 4 tips are actually part of my 90-day online personal coaching protocols. And so I was just throw this out to you guys out there that may not be part of that program out there. But what I want you guys to do is, those of you that are watching me on Facebook today, when this video or when this Facebook Live is over, go to my YouTube channel, type in Bill Mabry, subscribe to it, hit that bell up there, and you'll get some of my newer videos. Those of you that are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that bell, and you will get some of my new ones. So let's get right to it, and I've got my notes over here so I can kind of stay on track here. So the 4 tips to help you burn fat faster. Let's go with number 1 is fast longer. Now, those of you that follow me know that Emily and I have been doing intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting, along with the ketogenic diet, which I like to call the anti-inflammatory diet. And we're also following that with the hydrogen-rich water. You know, we're drinking water that has structure to it, and that actually is a very, very powerful, is the most powerful antioxidant in existence. And so we're combining that with those 2 other protocols. But when I'm talking, as I'm getting a new person ready to do intermittent fasting, I want to educate them about how important it is to actually do those longer fasts. And so if you're really going to want to burn that fast, you want to build up to that. Now, of course, we don't want you guys to jump right into a longer fast, because you're going to fail. And the reason for that is because your body's not used to burning fat. So you got to acclimate your body to switch from the carbohydrates. See, that's what you're using for primary fuel. That's what you've been operating on for decades. And it's the easiest fuel for your body to go after. So it's used to doing that. Well, now all of a sudden, science and research is showing that actually operating on carbohydrates as your main fuel source is not healthy. It's causing inflammation. And so now a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon, and they're researching this anti-inflammatory diet or a ketogenic diet, finding out that, okay, you raise the fat. So the object is when you're doing a longer fat, you become fat adapted by producing ketones. See, your liver, when you're switching over from carbohydrates to burning the stored fat that you basically want to burn anyway, your liver is taking that stored fat and converting it into ketones, and that's the key. That word ketone. It's a very clean fuel, and it's like a rocket fuel to your body once your body gets used to burning it. And so the longer, now if you think about what I just said, if you're no longer burning, if you've run out of carbohydrates to burn, if your liver is completely depleted of carbohydrates because you've stopped basically eating carbs because you're fasting. So basically you've stopped eating food, period. You're not taking in the carbs at all. You're not taking in anything, because what are you doing? You're fasting, so obviously you're not bringing in food. Well, is the body going to shut itself down and completely fall apart and die off? No, the body's not that stupid. It's got a mechanism, which is what? Its body's going to switch over to burning fat, your stored fat. See, guys, that's the issue. You guys have, a lot of you have plenty of stored fat there that has some really good nutrients in it. So the body's going to switch to that. It's going to take that fat, the liver's going to convert it into ketones. It's going to lower the hormone, insulin, that is causing you to store fat. It's going to lower that. Your ketones, or you'll be in ketosis. Your ketones will be higher, and your glucose or your blood sugar will be lower, and then you're actually burning that stored fat that you want. Now, if you're doing a 12-hour fast, you're really not dipping into that fat burning mode, fat adaptation or fat burning mode. Now, most of you probably are doing a fast, some kind of a fast anyway, because why? Well, while you're asleep, you're not eating. So if your last meal is at 8 o'clock at night, and you wake up at 6 or 7, and you have your first meal at 8, you've just done a 12-hour fast. The problem is that you haven't let your body drop the insulin low enough, or your liver will still have some glycogen stored into it. So your body is still utilizing that blood sugar or that glucose as fuel. So the longer you don't eat over 12 hours, every hour after 12, as that insulin level comes down to base, as the liver depletes itself from the glucose, every hour after 12 hours, you're actually going to start dipping into your stored body fat that you're looking to actually get rid of. Doesn't that make sense? And so if you fast longer, how much more of that stored body fat are you going to be eliminating? Well, you're going to be eliminating more of it, and that's the whole object. Now, as you want to go through it gradually, so you can do an 18-hour fast with a 6-hour eating window. You can do a 20-hour fast. You can do a 24-hour fast. Emily and I do 48-hour fast once a month. You can do a 72-hour fast. But you work up to it slowly, and your body will adapt to it. Now, as you do more of the longer fasting, they're going to get easier and easier, because you are starting to get more fat adapted. So the body is utilizing the fat more efficiently, and it's using it for energy, and it's satisfied. It's like eating a meal. It actually would rather use that stored body fat as fuel. And so if what I said here makes sense, then don't you think by working up to a longer fast to burn that extra body fat be something you might want to look into? Obviously. Well, also this is backed by science, and science, there's other things besides losing the body fat or the weight when you're doing a longer fast. There's some great health benefits, and one of them was brought up by the University of California, which is USC Medical Center. You guys have heard of that. They have done their research on people that are doing longer fast, and they have found in their research that a prolonged fasting helps to promote immune cell regeneration. And so that's just one of the scientific benefits they found. There's multiple others. It also helps with anti-aging, and some of you that are my age or older, that might be something you might want to look into, because as you do more of the longer fastings, then you're going to put yourself into a state of what they call autophagy, and that's where the real magic is as far as other health benefits and the anti-aging. So you really want to look at the very first tip I have is fast longer. The next tip is when you're coming off of a fast, then what foods do you want to consume during that eating window or when you come off the fast? So what you want to do, and this is something that a lot of you have been hearing about, is a ketogenic diet, or what I like to call an anti-inflammatory diet, because that's exactly what it does. Both the prolonged fasting or the longer fasting and the ketogenic diet or anti-inflammatory diet, just like it says, they're actually designed to flush out inflammation. That's what they're designed for. That's what our ancestors, the doctors and our ancestors, actually used them for. And that's what research is seeing, the benefits of why both of these work so well as far as for so many disease models, because you guys know that, will follow me, that I keep saying that the root cause of all diseases, which you could look it up yourself, is inflammation. Okay, well, I'm just give the ketogenic diet, which the scientific name is anti-inflammatory. Well, it says it all right there. But if you're combining a ketogenic diet along with the longer fast, then you're still dipping into your body fat for the primary fuel, and you're raising the ketones is exactly what you're doing, and you're eliminating carbs, because a ketogenic diet, a true ketogenic diet, is 80% good fat, 15% moderate to low protein, and 5% carbs, which means mainly, or if not all, like us, is all of our 5% carbs comes from veggies. And so what I mean by good 80% fat, I'm talking about stuff like avocados, part of your meal, stuffed olives with cheese. That's a great way to get fat. Cook all your food with either avocado oil or coconut oil. Add MCT oil to your meals. Those are good fats. Snack on nuts. Those are great fats. Eggs are a good source of fats. We like to go with the leaner meats, because the good fat in lean meat which is in the meat. It's the fat you can't see. If you look at a piece of meat, red meat, and if you can see a lot of swirls of fat and the outside is fatty, that's not the fat we're looking for. We want the good fat that's inside the meat, and you can't see that. A leaner chicken, salmon, a great source of fat. That's a great source of fat. And then we're, of course, adding a small portion of some type of vegetable or a small salad with vinegar and oil. And so when I actually did 2 24-hour fastings this week. I did one on Monday. I had one meal that I ate around 6, and I had very little carbs. It was more of I had my which I call my high good fat protein paste, which I try to keep my carbs to about 20 or less. And then the next day, I felt so good when I was training. I felt so strong, and my recovery was so good. So on Tuesday, I actually did another 24-hour fast and went and trained. I felt that good. And then when I came off my 24-hour fast, I had a ketogenic meal, which was the higher fat meal. And so what am I doing here? If I'm doing a 24-hour fast, and I ended up on Monday, my last meal was a ketogenic meal, which was a high-fat meal, very, very low carbs. I had probably 10 grams of carbs that whole day. Then I'm going to be staying in ketosis, or I'm going to be producing ketones even while I'm sleeping. So I'm in fat burning 24 hours I'm in fat burning the whole day and the whole night. Because why? Because what will stop you from being in ketosis? A high carb meal or high sugar meals. That will stop it. Well, I only had like maybe a total of 10 grams, and that was it. So on Tuesday, I'm still in fat burning from the day before. And then I'm going to go exercise for an hour to an hour and a half, and I'm going to be burning more fat and taking up more energy, and my body's going to go after more of that body fat. So you see how that all works. And so your second tip is you want to break your fast with a good high fat ketogenic meal. You want to make sure that it's got a balance of your vegetables, small portions, and you could have eggs with it or some kind of lean meat. Depending on your size of your body, you could women about 3.5 ounces of meat, guys 4.5 to 6 ounces, sometimes 7 ounces of meat. So your number 2 tip is to break your fast with a good 80% good fat 15% moderate to low protein, and a 5% carbs, veggies, and break your fast that way, because that's going to keep you in ketosis, and that will keep you in fat adaptation. Now, also, you know, what's really great too is there's science behind a ketogenic diet that a doctor. This is pretty encouraging, and this is I think I got this about, I don't know, 6 months ago, maybe 8. Well, no, maybe longer than that. But there's a Dr. Thomas Seyfried from Boston College, who's been doing a lot of research on the ketogenic diet, or the anti-inflammatory diet, that with his actual cancer brain tumor clients or patients, and to come to find out what he discovered, that when you put somebody on a high fat, good fat, and a 50% low protein and a 5% carb diet, or an anti-inflammatory diet, that he has found that is actually starving cancer cells. Now, those of you that might know somebody with cancer, or those of you that may have had cancer, you're post-cancer like myself, we all know that what's the main source of fuel for cancer cells? Well, it's sugar. So think about it. If you're doing a prolonged fast, then how are you feeding the cancer cells? Where's the cancer cells getting their food from? If their main source of fuel is sugar, well, you're not eating carbs, you're not eating food, period. And so he also discovered that cancer cannot feed off of fat. So when you're in a prolonged fast or a longer fast, and you're doing a ketogenic diet when you're coming off the fast, and you're not eating the carbs you were eating in the past, and you're keeping your glycogen storage very, very low, or your insulin levels at base, then what's going to eventually happen to the cancer cells? Well, they're not getting fed, so they're going to die. So I thought that was pretty intriguing to. Now, of course, your oncologist isn't going to talk to you about what Dr. Thomas Seyfried find, or these other doctors have found, or the research that's being done on the higher fat diets as far as killing cancer cells. They're not going to tell you about that. Also, guys, the ketogenic diet, or the anti-inflammatory diet, science is also showing that it's also helping with anti-aging. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, train smart. What that means is that if you're going to be doing the intermittent fasting, or the prolonged fasting, and combining it with the ketogenic diet or the anti-inflammatory diet, you definitely want to do some type of exercising, because that's going to help the metabolism stay fired up all the time, and that's going to contribute to actually burning more of the body fat that you have. But what I mean by training smart is that do it moderately. You don't need to go out there and just go crazy and lift for 3 or 4 hours at a time, because that's actually going to raise your insulin level or your glucose level, and it's going to drop your ketone levels down lower. So it can actually throw you out of ketosis, or can actually throw you out of fat burning. And so just do it moderately. You know, for example, I mean, a good while you're trying to lose the weight, if you've got a goal you want to reach, you know, just find a good interval strength training routine that you can do 3 days a week, and then do some moderate cardio. For example, like I do interval cardio. What that means is that 3 days a week, I'll do 20 minutes of either a Stairmaster or a treadmill, or I'll go up in the hills up here and go hiking, and it's moderate, and it's about 20 minutes. And so I'm not overtraining my body. I'm not overstressing the body, because what happens is when you train hard, really, really hard, and overtrain, you're actually causing your body to produce metabolic waste, which is going to make your body more acidic, which is going to raise your cholesterol or your cortisol levels, which is going to start raising your glucose level, and so forth. I'm sure some of you might be thinking, well, Bill, I remember listening to some of your videos in the past, and you train 6 days a week. Well, yeah, that's true, and I'm actually on that routine this week. But those of you that follow me know that I have a certain water that I drink that is designed to flush out inflammation. And when I'm training hard, one of the biggest, one of the root causes of dehydration, or actually inflammation, is dehydration. Well, because of the type of water I'm drinking, which is my fourth tip, is hydrogen-rich water. And so I can't, because of the structure of the water and what it's designed to do, it's designed, because of the structure, it actually will detox you with every glass of water you drink. So I am constantly detoxing myself. So if I'm in the gym training super hard, what am I producing as I'm training? I'm producing metabolic weight, lactic acid, so forth. Why do you guys get sore after a hard training session? Why can't you go back in the gym in 3 or 4 hours and train that same muscle? And because you're so sore? Well, because you're not flushing out the metabolic waste you're producing during that training session, and it's damaging the muscle. Well, my recovery drink is not those health food fancy expensive recovery drinks, because they don't work. They actually cause more inflammation to the body. I am drinking hydrogen-rich water, which is the smallest and the most powerful antioxidant in existence, and I am drinking about 1.5 gallons of this every day. So anytime I am building up any kind of toxic chemicals from the environment that I'm breathing in, or the food I'm eating, or the water, or whatever, and any of the metabolic waste that I'm producing when I'm training hard, I am flushing it out with every time I'm drinking it before it does any damage to my cells, to the mitochondria in my cells, and I'm recuperating and recovering very quickly because I am flushing out that metabolic waste. That's why I can train as hard as I can each session and not have any issues with that. So if you want to escalate your weight loss, or if you want to escalate your training, or if you want to keep your body in a very healthy environment, then you need to think about changing your water to hydrogen-rich water, because right now all you guys are drinking toxic water. Your bottled water that you're drinking, it's toxic. Your filtered tap water you're drinking, it's toxic. They can't get the contaminants out. Those fancy alkaline bottled waters you think you're buying at the health food store, they're in plastic bottles. What makes you think those are healthy? They're not. They're sitting. I mean, they're sitting on a shelf, and they're absorbing all the poisons out of the plastic. So you're actually poisoning yourself slowly. Well, hydrogen-rich water has got a molecule in it which is called a molecular hydrogen H2. And some of you might be thinking, well, where can I buy this? You can't. You have to have a device that hooks up to your faucet on your sink that takes your source water, which is high in good minerals, converts it into molecular hydrogen H2, which is hydrogen-rich water, and you have to get it fresh, because if you let it sit, the hydrogen H2 in it, which is the magic, will dissipate very, very fast. So the fresher you get the water, the better off you are. You know what, guys? I tell you, this is how new hydrogen-rich water really is, or the science behind it. Back in 2006, two scientists, researchers, discovered that every one of our cells have little tiny water channels in them. Okay, and so those of you that drink bottled water, think about this when or you thought about this. So you drink a lot of water, but all day, but you still feel dehydrated. Why is that? Or you drink a lot of water at one time, a lot of your bottled water or a lot of your tap water at one time, and you can actually feel it slushing in your stomach. Or can you actually drink 2 bottles of bottled water and go jump on a trampoline or go out and run? No, you can't. Why is that? It's because of the structure of that water is in large clusters. And so the molecules are very big. Well, these two researchers won a Nobel Prize because they discovered that each one of our cells have small little water channels in them. And that the water channels are so small, and they actually have a positive membrane on there, that the water that you're drinking today in the bottles or in the tap water or those alkaline waters that you're buying at the stores, those water molecule clusters are huge compared to hydrogen-rich water. And that's why people who drink hydrogen-rich water, when they drink a big glass of it and they stand there for a second, their thoughts are, and I've heard this many, many times over the years, is, wow, I don't feel it. Where is it? Well, because of the structure of the water, the body is already absorbing it, and most of it's gone by the time it hits the stomach. And because of the pH being so high, there's a little valve in your stomach. And when that little valve, when that pH water hits that valve, it opens up automatically and lets whatever left of the water back into the intestines and starts to hydrate the rest of the body. See, that's the structure. That's what makes the hydrogen-rich water different than any water out there. And so if it can do that, then what do you think it can do to the cells? And what do you think it can do as far as flushing out inflammation? And so what is one of the root causes of obesity? One of the root causes, or the root cause of obesity is what? Inflammation. What do you think is one of the easiest way to flush out inflammation in the body? It's hydrogen-rich water. I mean, I just told you what it does. It hydrates the body at the cellular level very quickly. With every glass of water you're drinking, you're hydrating yourself, and it's flushing out the inflammation, just like what it does for me when I'm working out in the gym. That's why Emily and I do. That's why we don't get sore. That's why we can recover so fast. Those of you that maybe might know a little bit of science on how the cell works and how recovery, or what the ATP energy system is, and how the ATP energy system works in recovery in the gym, well, you want to recover that quickly as possible. Well, free radicals, which is what you're producing when you're exercising, is causing damage to the mitochondria and causing issues with the ATP. Well, when I'm training and I'm drinking hydrogen-rich water as I'm training, I'm flushing all that crap out, so I'm not damaging anything. Okay, you see how that works? It works great. And it's going to help you to lose weight at the same time. Water, you can look this up. Water plays a huge part in losing weight. So guys, those are my 4 tips. I'll repeat them real quick again. Number 1, fast longer. Put yourself in fat adaptation a lot longer. Pretty obvious. If you don't eat, you're going to lose weight. But like I said, the body will not. You need to go step by step. That's why it's good to find a coach that can walk you through it, that can start you off easily, because the body isn't designed. The body just isn't going to switch over to burning fat automatically. Okay. The key factor is, though, if you do this long enough and give yourself enough time and become fat adapted, then it gets easier and easier and easier. The second one is when you're coming off a fast, you want to keep that fat burning going. You want to keep that fat adaptation going. So do a ketogenic diet or an anti-inflammatory diet. But make sure that your good fats are high, because that's going to get you to the next day if you're doing a longer fast. Number 3, train smart. You don't need to go crazy on your training, but I would add those of you that don't want to go to the gym but yet you do want to do these and lose some weight, get out there and walk 3 days a week. Do something. Get that metabolism. Keep it going. Exercising is going to clear the brain. It's going to help you along with those 2 other ones. And then number 4, you might want to look into changing the type of water you're drinking, because right now the water you're drinking is poisoning you. It's poisoning your family. The World Health Organization is putting warnings out there that 93% of your plastic bottles have plastic particles in it. News medias are also jumping on the bandwagon about this. So you can message me. I'll send you some more information about it. But those of you that are struggling, if you might be having a hard time trying to lose that extra weight, just message me and I'll give you some info on how you might be able to get back on track. Okay, guys? So, guys, I hope you saw some value in this, and hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one. Bye.